Okay, guys, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Oh, Makebalo. Today we'll be doing statistic from grade 11. So today it's about statistics. So in statistics, where we group data, it's where we are grouping data. We call an ungrouped data, and then we have a group data. So let's start by stating the one of ungrouped data, where we have just numbers like 1, 5, 8, 7, 7, 9, 9. I'm just naming numbers from randomly, and 20. These are just ungrouped data. And then also we have what we have grouped data. We have grouped data, where in grouped data we are using what in table. So we have probably gonna have table. In the table we have a frequency table, and in the table we have cumulative what frequency table. Just gonna draw the table now, and then just gonna get the cumulative and the mid value of the table. Yes guys, this is the table. Now we have this table, which is our table where we have a group data here. We have our intervals here of ages, and then we have F here, which stands for frequency, and then we have CumF, which stands for cumulative frequency, and we have mid values here. So now the first question is, how do we get this accumulative frequency? First, the accumulative frequency, the first number that you put here is the number that is there in frequency, which we have what? Which we have 6. And then from there, how do you get the others? We say 6 plus 14. If it's 6 plus 14, we get what? We get 20. And then from 20 plus 22, we get what? We get 42. And then from 42 plus 38, we get what? We're gonna get what? 80. Why I'm writing this one different number? Because this here is a total number of what? Of people. Remember, the number that is there, the end number or the final number that we write here, is the total number of people. This one that is here. And then coming here now, how do we get the mid values? How do you get the mid values? You come here in your intervals. Coming here in your intervals, you add these two numbers, and then you divide it by what? By 2. Don't forget, you take these numbers, divide by 2. So from the first one here, it's going to be, let me just use this one, it's going to be 0 plus 10, and divided by 2 here, we get what? We're gonna get 5. This is for this one. And then here, take these ones here, it's just gonna be 10 plus 20, we divide it by 2. From this one we get what? We get 15. And then from this one here, we take these two, which is 20 plus 30, we divided it by 2, we get what? We get 25. And then also from this one, now we take these two, which is sorry, here we're supposed to be 40, this one, so it's gonna be 30 plus 40. We divide it by 2, we get what? We get 35. I hope you understand how do you get the accumulative frequency, how do we get the mid values. Mid values, you use our intervals, you add our intervals, then we divide it by what? By 2. Now in our table now, let's find the mean. Now, let's learn how do we find the mean using what? Our table. Two important things if we are looking for a mean. First, we are using what? If we are finding a mean using a table, we're going to use our mean values. I hope you still remember how to find our mean values. I hope you still remember that part. And again, from the mean values, remember, mean values can be decimal, so you can find decimal values there. They are not always whole numbers, so don't get confused or get surprised if you're getting decimal numbers. And again, something else that is very important, if we are looking for a mean, we're going to use a frequency. Two very important things. We're going to use our frequency and we're going to use our mean values. These two things are very important if you are looking for a mean. Okay, now let's find the mean. Let's find the mean. How do we find the mean? We take our frequency, we times it with our mean, we add frequency times mean, we add frequency times mean, we add frequency times mean, we add all over. We divide by the total number of the people that we have. So it's gonna be 6 times 5, 6 times 5 plus 14 times 15 plus 22, sorry, plus 25 plus 88 times what? Times 35. Just put brackets here so that you can see that these two things are separate, and then we all divide these by the total number of the people, which is what? Which is just 80. So you can add this from our calculator. It's just, we're gonna get, if you can punch your calculator, guys, the answer that we're going to get here is going to be 26,5, which is the mean that we are getting when we're using what? Our table. And another thing that is very important for this video is the median what? Interval. And how do you find the median interval? Let's say the question is saying the total frequency, which is equals to 80. And take that 80, we divide it. 80 we divide by 2, we get what? We get 40. Now 40 falls under which interval? If you get to here, 40 falls under these which interval? 40 falls under accumulative frequency. I will go to our accumulative frequency. This is 42, so our 40 is here. So 40 falls within the accumulative frequency of 42. So if you are looking for a median interval, which is the question saying the total frequency is equal to 80, you get your 80, you take your 80, you divided it by 2, we get 40. You go to your cumulative frequency, see that number that you get here, it falls what accumulative frequency. So 42 falls under 40, so our 40 is between here, this number which is 42. That what interval do we have there? The interval that we have under 42, we have 20 into x into 30. This is the interval that we have. I hope you understand that median interval, total frequency that they gave you, it divided it by 2, we get 40, and then from there 40 falls under which accumulative frequency. You go to accumulative frequency, and then 40 falls under which is 42 that we have here. Under 42, we go into the interval that we have. We see that 42 is 20 less than or equals to x, which is less than 30. There's less here, sorry about that. That is this the interval that we have under this under falls under what? 40. I hope you understand that part. Okay guys, now still continuing with our table. Now when you have to, or you need to draw an ogive, I hope you know what is an ogive, but we'll get there. I'm just gonna tell you something that you need to use when you are drawing what? An ogive graph from your table. You use, very important thing that you need to use when you're drawing the ogive graph, you use what? Your and values, and also you use what? You use accumulative frequency. That's what you are using when you are drawing what? An ogive. But don't worry, we're gonna come to ogive, just highlighting important stuff from now. And then another thing that you need to do in your calculator. Now let's go to your calculator. There is something that you need to switch on. There's something that you need to switch on, which is you're switching what? The frequency column in your calculator. Now switching on the frequency what? Column. Now let's go to your calculator. So now these are the steps that you need to follow when you are switching what? The frequency column. But let's go together. Make sure your calculator is on the degrees there. That's D there. Make sure it's there on your calculator. Now let's follow the step. First step is saying shift mode, and then what? You choose, there's an arrow here, you choose the down arrow, and then from there you choose a what? Stat. We have stat there, which is 3. You press 3, and then from here it's saying frequency, and then they're saying on and off, and then from there we choose what? 1, which is then for on, and then it's on. Then after it's on, now we're gonna do what? Standard deviation. Now how do we do standard deviation? Now it's very important that we have to switch on that frequency column, because before we go to, we can't find our standard deviation before switching that column. Okay guys, now on that standard deviation, the very important thing that we did here is by when we switch on what? That frequency column, because this part it's gonna need you to switch on that frequency column. Now going to the standard deviation, if you are looking for a standard deviation, we're going to the into your calculator, then you press mode. In that mode there is choose 2, which stands for stat, and then from there you choose what 1, which is stand for 1 minus var, and then from there you enter your values. Something that is very important when you're entering values in X column here, you put what? You put mid values, and then in the frac, which is the frequency table, you put what? Frequency. Now let's start. Mid values under X, so put 5, 15, 25, and what? 35. And then going to the frequency column, there is our frequency here. We put 6, we put 14, we put 22, we put what? 38. Then from here, after we are done here, very important thing, you press AC. You don't press what? On. You press AC. And then from there, follow another step. From here, we press shift, and then after pressing shift, you press 1. That one with the stat there, press 1. And then after pressing 1, you choose what? You choose var, which is 4. Then you press 4, and then after that you choose this number 3, which is stand for what? Standard deviation. And then you press 3, and then you press equal sign. So our standard deviation is going to be equals to 9,63. So that is our standard deviation. Remember, using what? The table. Very important. First thing that is very important is this one of switching what? The column from your calculator. Now guys, the last thing that you need to find, or the last thing or last part of our video, is finding a mean using your calculator. So how do we do that? Very simple steps of finding a mean. Remember, we are on that part where you've put our data on our calculator. Just press your AC from what we were just finding standard deviation, and then after that you press shift, and then you press 1, and then from there you choose 4, and then from that 4 there is var, which is 2, and then from there you're gonna see the sign of a mean, which is gonna give you an answer. Let's go there. Let's follow our steps. After there, you press AC, and then from AC you press shift, you press 1, and then from there you choose var, which is number 4, and then you press 4, and then from there you choose number 2 here, which is then for a mean. We press 2, and then what is our mean? Our mean is 26,5. Remember, we already find the mean here when we are using our calculator. If you go back to the video, we did do that. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you. If you reached this far in the video, this really means a lot for me. So thank you so much for watching. Peace.